Hi Constance, welcome to the NOA Symposium. Could you please give us a brief description of your role and what it involves?
Yeah, so UCB, the Belgian biopharma company for which I work, we have outsourcing partnerships along the whole value chain, ranging from new medicines and research all the way into the support functions. My team supports those engagement leads for the outsourcing partnerships with performance tracking. And by that I mean, on the one hand, we hold governance meetings with the engagement leads and with the partners, where we look at financials and KPI performance. And on the other hand, we contribute methodology to the teams. So things like, how do I build a business case? How can I get some best practice insights from other engagements? That's where the focus of my team is.
What would you say are the most common causes of conflict in an outsourcing relationship?
Yeah, so from what I've seen, one common cause is unrealistic expectations on behalf of the client when they enter the engagement. And typically this is not ill-intentioned, this is lack of experience. So often we don't actually have any data or insight on how we perform before we enter the outsourcing partnership. And an area of tension I've seen is that you then go with the partner with very unrealistically high expectations of how they are supposed to perform, where maybe your own performance at the start wouldn't have met those criteria either.
What is your top tip for avoiding buyer-supplier conflict when it comes to outsourcing?
I think probably pitching the partnership at the right eye-to-eye level. And by that I mean not on the one hand micromanaging the partner, where you almost have a shadow organization, you duplicate all the processes because you don't really trust the output that they produce, or being on the other spectrum where you think you throw something over the fence, it's the supplier's job to get it done, you don't care how it's done, you don't interact much, and then you're maybe disappointed at the results that you see. So I think it's finding that sweet spot, and any company has to define on their own, also for each individual partnership, where that is, but interacting at the right level and ideally as much eye to eye as possible, so you can benefit also from the best practice or the innovation that the partner brings.
What's the best way to evaluate the performance of an outsourcing relationship? What metrics are most important?
Yeah, so since we have outsourcing partnerships along the whole value chain, I cannot comment on what are the best metrics. I think it's important to be, however, very clear on how you define the metrics, that both parties would throw out exactly the same definition when you start questioning what is behind this. I think it's also important, as the partnership evolves, to evolve the metrics together. What we're often seeing is that we go in with one set of KPIs initially, and then as we're in the operations part of the engagement, the needs for the KPI measurement adjust. And I think it's also important to, over time, look not just at what the partner delivers or the supplier, but make it more end-to-end, where you really look at the whole process. You look how long everybody's taking for each piece, and then you can really work together to make all the pieces better, so that in the end you come up with a better holistic product than just looking at the smaller pieces that the supplier owns.
Is there any particular technology or tool that you would recommend for performance tracking? And if so, why?
Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend a particular tool. There is a great horses for sources study that came out last year. The first one I've seen on really evaluating governance tools for outsourcing partnerships. So that is a great reference point to go to, because they very objectively look at what are the offerings in the market for governance tools and what are some of the pros and cons. What I would say is, when a company chooses such a tool, they need to think about whether they want to be the ones who are collecting the performance information each month and then who'd conduct the governance meetings with their engagement leads, or do they also want that part to be outsourced? Because there's some of these tool providers who also offer what's called managed governance services, where they do all the pre-collection work of performance data and they then bring that to the clients. I think that's an important criterion on how much does the company want to do themselves on preparing these performance review meetings.